诸位佛友、诸位法师，大家晚上。
To all Dharma friends and all venerables, good evening.
非常感恩大家今天出席我们的卫赛的庆典讲座。
Appreciate for attending tonight's this Vesak Dharma talk.
我们说要这样的见面呢，是很不容易的，不可思议的因缘。
We say that it is auspicious and these unbelievable conditions that creates our meetup like this.
所以我们说，修道者当我们见面的时候呢，我们应该尊重。
There's a saying that when we meet, there should be a dignity.
我们经常要反省我们此刻我们的心的状况。
We should always reflect at each moment the state of our mind.
我们要怎么样展开我们的人生
How should we expand and live our life?
我们这样的一个微赛庆典呢，不是一个人的力量，还有很多人的付出才可以成就。
For Vesak celebration as this, it is not easy. We need a lot of these contributions from so many people.
我们不是在一个地方庆祝，我们在这里已经第3个地方庆祝微赛节了。
We are not only having this one location for our celebration. This is the 3rd location for our celebration.
我们上个礼拜呢，礼拜4我们在第沙路庆祝了微赛节。
Last Thursday, we have celebrated the Vesak Day at the Saru in Malaysia, and our Zen Center in the Saru.
过后呢，我们拜6礼拜在滨江南的国际禅中心也是庆祝微赛节。
And in the last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we also celebrated the Vesak Day at our International Zen Center in Johor, in Pengerang.
我们也是一系列的活动，有礼拜千佛啊，有三不一拜，有传灯、义佛等等。
We have a series of activities. We have this 3 steps 1 bow event. We have this bathing the Buddha event, and so on.
通共呢 ，no need to loud, no need to。我讲话大家听得到吗？听得到哦，听不到举手。
Can you hear? Can everyone hear? If you can't hear, please put up your hand.
如果太大声，听不到我的声，听到机器的声音。
So if it's too loud, you can't hear ShiFu's voice. You will hear the machine's sound.
中央每个人要从他的内心听到你内在的心的声音。
The important thing is each one of us to able to listen from our mind and able to hear the sound of our inner mind.
我们在滨江南的禅中心通过司仪的介绍呢，说我们今年就是第19个年头在这里庆祝微赛节。
During the introduction by the MC at the Pengerang Zen Center, it is said that it is the 19th anniversary of the celebration at the center.
那时候我会震动一下，哇，这么快啊！19年这样就过去在马来西亚。
And ShiFu had a surprise that it is so fast. 19 years had passed at Pengerang in Malaysia.
我们在2000年的时候呢，在滨江南呢举办这个国际禅中心，创造这个国际禅中心。
So it was in the year 2000, the International Zen Center started at this Pengerang in Johor.
我们新加坡呢，这个中心呢，1991年我们成立在无名岛。
In Singapore, Guanyin Chanling, the first center was started at this Pulau Ubin in 1991.
所以在新加坡第一次庆祝卫赛节呢，就是1991年啊。
So the first Vesak celebration in Singapore it was 1991.
我们知道乌名岛有年纪的人都知道乌名岛在哪里吧？
So those who had some age would know where is Ubin Island.
你需要坐那个船，10分钟才抵达那个岛。
So you would need to take a boat and will take times for about 10 minutes to reach the island.
他们虽然是一个小岛啦，可是他们都很诚心，都一起来庆祝卫赛节。
Although it's a small island, but all the Dharma friends are very sincere. They all come over to attend the celebration.
你知道要去乌名岛要坐船啊，可是新加坡这么多人去，包括出家人就有70多个出家人来应供我们这个共生啊。
So, at that time, there was a lot of these participants who join and then take the boat to that island. And for the venerables itself, it's already about 70 our venerables who have joined the event.
整个码头给我们包完了，这船也给我们全部包完。
At that time, the whole port, all the boats are being booked by us.
我们没有想到，为什么这么因缘不殊胜，这么多人来乌名岛？
At that time, ShiFu thought, oh, what an auspicious conditions that so many of those have joined.
那么在1993年呢，我们就是在新加坡第一次在新加坡庆祝这个三步一拜，还有卫赛节的节目。
In 1993, it was the first time we have this 3 steps 1 bow event in Singapore and also during the Vesak celebration.
我们的想法是很简单的，卫赛节我们的庆祝呢，请大家来拜佛呢，我们也在三步一拜的。
At that time, the thought is very simple, is to, during this celebration of Vesak, we invite everyone to join and to bow to the Buddha and to celebrate the event.
想不到呢，这个三步一拜呢，马路全部阻塞，很多人来参加三步一拜。
He never thought that for this 3 steps 1 bow event, it caused the jams at the traffic jams at the roads.
劳动很多警员啊，到来我们这个加拉纳萨那边一个住宅区。
At that time, we have actually used a lot of help, a lot of volunteers to come and help out.
惊动这警察的部队啊，很多警察来。
So even a lot of this police have actually, police force has come and to regulate
他们以为
the.
我们在示威还是暴动啊，这么多人啊，警察很多，来拍照很多。
And then the police force, they might have thought that could be some demonstration going on, or something else is going on.
可是那个警长很有礼貌，给我们拜到晚。
At that time, the head of the police was polite, and then they allowed us to complete the bowing.
他来告诉我，明天你要去警察局录口供。
And the head of the police department told ShiFu, tomorrow you need to come to the police station for some report.
我也是这样的，很自然就去警察局。
And then ShiFu very naturally went to the police department, police office.
为什么你没有申请执照呢？就这样这么多人，马路全部阻塞，为什么这样？
And then the head of the police asked ShiFu, why didn't you apply for the license and you go ahead and then you cause the traffic jam?
我说，哎呀，我没有想到这么多人，我一拜三步一拜，哇，转头过去马路全部站满了。
And Shifu replied, I didn't think that there could be so many people that join. When I turned over my head, I was surprised to see there are so many people.
我说这个是出家人，那么威赛节我是拜佛了，我做我的工作。
Shifu also replied that I'm a monk, and then this is my job. During this Vesak celebration, I'm just doing my job.
警长说 OK， 如果没有人继续投诉呢，我们就不会控告你上法庭。如果有人继续投诉呢，你要去上法庭。
So the head of police continued to say that, okay, if no one continue to complain, then we will not take any further action. If not, if there are still complaints, you may have to go to the court.
可是呢，最后还是要上法庭。
In the end, Shifu still had to go to the court.
可是我们有一个佛友啊，他是律师嘛，他经常有帮忙我们。那个是叫做5年过律师。
At that time, we had this Dharma friend who always help out, and actually, this Dharma friend is a lawyer, and this lawyer also his name is Ling Lian Po.
他说师父啊，这样的 case 啊，你要准备最少拿5000块，不然你要坐牢嘞。
And this lawyer advised Shifu that he need to prepare $5,000. If not, he might need to go to jail.
可是我也是不动，我的心很自然，我都没有犯法嘛，我就去法庭。
And Shifu at that time, the mind is not moving, and he just naturally he has to just go and attend the court.
然后法官看到我，你是出家人，我说是啊，我是出家人，可是我就是威赛节，我就是拜佛而已嘛，我没有做什么错。
And then at the court, the judge saw that Shifu is a monk. He said, "Oh, you are a monk." And then Shifu replied, "Yes." And this is a Vesak day, and I didn't do any wrong.
他都说好，如果没有人继续投诉呢，这个 case 就拿掉了。
And the judge replied, "Okay, if no one else complained, the case will be closed."
可是还没完没了，还没有拿掉，还是要再去 court。
And actually, at that time is not closed. The case is not closed, and Shifu need to continue to go to the court.
因为我们在加拿大山那是住宅区，经常我们有诵经啊、拜佛啊，隔壁就打电话去警察那边啊，警察就会来。
And at that time, the activity of a lot of activity of chanting and bowing to the Buddha at this Jalan Asa, and the neighbor normally will call the police to complain. It's actually a residential area.
最后我还是去法庭，可是呢，我有一个佛友也是在帮忙我的，他叫静心。
And at that time, Shifu still need to go to the court, and there was another Dharma friend that helped, whose name is Jing Xing.
然后当然了，那个律师也陪我去了。师父你要准备最少2万块去第二次的。
And also the previous lawyer still continue to help, and this time he advised that Shifu, this time you need to prepare probably 20,000.
可是呢，那个静心啊，是我们的护法啦。可是他的爸爸在那个法庭做工的，清洁运动，扫法庭的。
And at this Dharma friend Jing Xing is a.
他的爸爸是在法庭做清洁工的。是民众啊，这个难走。
And this, his father is working actually at this court as a cleaner. he is very the father. He's very he know these judges very well.
然后我就你爸爸在那边说，那请他帮忙哦。他说可以，他帮忙去讲。
And ShiFu asked for his help from his father because his father is working at the court.
他说我跟他讲完了，他说一个结论，他说给他5000块罚款就没事了。
And actually the conclusion that was given is you paid at the advice you paid them 5,000 fine, and actually it will settle the case.
可是我不可以了，我出家人罚款，就是我犯罪了，我就黑名单了，不可以罚款。我告诉他再去讲。
And ShiFu replied that cannot. I am actually a monk. If I paid them, and then it will become in the blacklist. And then ShiFu asked, "Can you please continue to help me to negotiate with them?"
他反应回来说是可以的，这次是警告你而已。
And then this time he come back and he said, "Okay, maybe can this time because this time is only a warning for you."
OK， 我就胸怀有助了，可是我的律师很担心啊。
And after hearing this advice from Jing Xing, ShiFu is actually quite confident. But then this lawyer that is helping is still very worried.
我没有跟律师讲太多，我不用担心，没事的。
And ShiFu didn't speak much with this lawyer, and then just tell him that not to worry, it will be okay.
可是我心里有准备了，我去里面做2个礼拜，就是闭关，在里面 retreat 了。
And ShiFu is very confident and well prepared. And ShiFu even thought that even if he has to go in, it is as if a retreat for probably a 2 weeks retreat inside.
然后去到法庭，那个律师有点紧张，可是最后呢，法官判你的民事什么都很好，这次是警告你，再一次呢就是没有这么容易。
And then the judge make the verdict that okay, this time is just a warning, and next time it will not be just a warning.
就这样跳过一关。
And then ShiFu has actually overcome this stage.
其实修行有很多路程，很多关要过。
Actually, in our practice, there is a lot of these obstacles and a lot of stages to be overcome.
可是我们也要跟着那个法律，要这种规律，不是说我们修行就不用跟着规矩。
But of course, we need to obey the law and follow the rules.
我们的判断就是说，当我们做某一件事呢，不会伤害到别人，也不会伤害自己，那我们以我们的工作、我们的责任，能实事去做，应该是没问题的。
But the consideration is, as long as what we do is not harmful or not harming anyone, and if that is our job, we just do it, and that will be no problem.
这也可以说我们的幸运也是佛陀的保佑。
And we can also say this is also is a lucky and is also a blessing from the Buddha.
可是我们不能够当做理所当然了，最后我们变成我们这个因缘呢越做越大，
越做越大。And then also we cannot take this for granted, and then we actually with these conditions we are actually have the event bigger and bigger.
虽然那个法庭没事了，可是呢，我们的邻居照样投诉，可是我们那边这个议员就要见我了，我就去见那个议员。
Although at that time, as that's a residential area, the neighbor still continue to complain, and although there is no other issue from the police, but the MP of that area requested to see 师父。
然后我也去见那个负责人啊，我们这一期的代表人。
And Shifu went and meet with this representative of that area.
然后他看到我啊，原来你是师父哦。哎呀，你不用在那个住宅区，你来布吉巴豆这边，我们借你一个大的地方做卫赛节。
And then the representative saw that is Shifu is is actually a monk, and then he said. She said that, oh, you don't need to have the event in the residential area. You can come to this Bukit Batu. You can come to Bukit Batu. We can actually lend you the location for the event.
那时候是在布吉巴豆的大牌283那里。
At that time, it was at this block 283 at this Bukit Batu.
他说：“来，师父，我们做大一点。”做大一点好不好？去布吉巴豆283庆祝。
And then the MP said, "Okay, Shifu, we make it. We have the event in a bigger scale at this block 283."
我都没有想象要做越做越大。
Shifu never imagined to make the event bigger and bigger.
我们这个文明岛是一个小的渔村啊，在那边静静这样做。
And in the beginning, actually, at this Ubin Island itself is a small fishing village, and Shifu actually intend to make it a small and quietly.
由于这样的一个因缘呢，变成我们每年都会来，变成后期我们来这个布吉公巴那边，越做越大。
And that was how it started, the condition of how it started. And we have, since then, we have actually having the celebration event bigger and bigger until today, right here in Bukit Gombak here.
所以我们说，你们坐在这边很不容易啊，不可思议的因缘。
That is why Shifu in the beginning mentioned that you're able to sit here, listen to the talk, and having joined the event is an auspicious and unbelievable conditions.
你看看整个场面，每一个岗位都有人在站岗啊，每个人都很用心在做。
If you look around at this hall itself, there are so many volunteers having at the different stations and actually performing their volunteering work.
所以我们说要众言和合嘛，佛教讲言取性空。
So in Buddhism, we say that all cause and conditions have to come together, and this cause and conditions arise at the same time. The nature is empty.
我们说任何一件事呢，都需要大家一起来成就。
We say that any event, any things, we need the cumulative action of everyone to make it a success.
每个人都可以付出。我们说这个智慧，这个智慧的智。
So we talk about this wisdom.
我们的这个从我们的知识取这个知识的智慧的开始。
From this wisdom that we actually absorb this knowledge.
我们说一个人的知识呢，面向毕竟有限。一个人的知识。
One's knowledge, the dimension of one's knowledge is actually quite limited.
能够记大众的智慧呢，那就更快地能够日进心知啊，能够激动大家的智慧。
So if we are able to accumulate and combine the wisdom of everyone else, it will.
就是这样，我们就能够呢，用我们的知识活用在我们的生活。
Then we can use our knowledge flexibly in our life.
这个世间万法呢，都要靠因缘和合才能成就。
The thousands and millions of things in this world is based on this cause and conditions.
我们所谓缘集则成呢，缘灭则散。
We say that if the cause and conditions comes together, the things is appear. But once the cause and conditions is not there, the things will disappear.
如果缺少因缘呢，不但诸事难成啊，离开因缘，个人也无法生存。
If without the causes and conditions, all things is impossible to form. And without causes and conditions, there is not one thing that can easily form.
所以人不能离开大众。
And so, a human being cannot live away from the others.
那个大众的智慧，就是我们的因缘。大众的智慧。
So the cumulative wisdom is our source.
大众就是帮助我们生存的条件。
The others is actually the conditions for us to survive.
所以佛教才讲缘起嘛。
That is why in Buddhism we speak about this dependent arising.
讲究具体的创作。
We talk about this cumulative creation.
讲究众缘所成。
We talk about this cumulative of all conditions of forming.
我们要存在，要活得更好，一定要靠大众的相互的依存。
To be able to survive in a good conditions, we need actually the collective conditions of the others.
因此呢，我们要把这些因缘聚集起来。
That is why we should form and actually depend and make use of these collective conditions.
再分享。
And then we should share with others.
利益大众。
And then to share and to benefit the others.
这个众实在是一个非常美好的意思啊。
This meaning of this collective beings is a very good word.
好像以众为我嘛。
For example, the collective beings, seeing the collective beings as self.
众志成城。
The collective this aspiration can form a city.
任何一个事业呢，都是要众成就。
Any work or any project, we need all the collective factors of others in order to be successful.
因此呢，和合随顺众生，才能够成事。
That is why if we are actually in line with the collective forces of others, then you can only be successful.
这是不容置疑的真理啊。
This is the truth that we should not doubt.
说历史上呢，有很多英雄好汉。
In the history, there are so many these heroes and kings.
因为尽众人之力而能够顺利的解决的问题。
Those heroes, they have actually make use and depend on this collective forces of others, then they are becoming successful.
所以人们常以说3个臭皮匠胜过一个诸葛亮来比喻一些平凡的人。
There is actually a Chinese proverbs that saying that the three fools can actually their collective forces, collective wisdom can be able to overcome a person that is with a lot of wisdom.
联合起来的集思广益呢，所到的成绩比聪明绝顶的人呢更胜一筹。
The cooperation and the collective wisdom of these few people who are average, they can actually even be more powerful than someone who is very intelligent.
人都有单打独斗的性格。
And normally, each individual has this habit of wanting to fight alone and to actually to do something alone.
喜欢创造一个自我英雄的形象。
Each one is normally would like to have the tendency to create an hero image, an individualistic hero image.
但是现在的社会呢，是一个讲究团队精神的时代。
But in this society today, actually we're talking about a teamwork that is much more important.
所以呢，当我们遇到无法解决困难的时候，不要把问题放在心里。
So whenever we face some challenges and difficulties in our life, do not keep these difficulties in our mind.
如此只是自行苦恼。
And if we are doing so, is we are actually looking for trouble ourselves.
将自己推向死葫芦。
As such, we are only pushing own self to a dead end.
毕竟一个人的力量呢，跟智慧是有限的。
Because oneself, our own this intelligence and wisdom are limited.
如果能将问题跟别人讨论，
If we willing to have a discussion and bring out our problem and share with others,
必能启发一些好的点子。
we may be inspired by the others and to be able to get some good idea.
并寻求解脱的途径。
And then we can proceed to find the way out of our problem.
即使一个愚者也有一德，就是。
And even a fool will have their usefulness and their virtue.
如果能让每个人都好好地发挥其专长，
If we are able to let each and everyone to have a chance to actually perform their skill,
彼此的互补。
and then we actually each one perform their skills and then show their strength and then cover up the weaknesses between each other.
所以说，3个臭皮匠胜过一个诸葛亮。
That is the meaning of this proverb. A tree of the fools is actually it can win over a very intelligent person.
诚不息也。
This is words of truth.
所以知者同知，蓄起知识是智慧的开始。
So this from wisdom of others that we can actually learn this different knowledge.
然而，一个人的知识呢，面向毕竟有限。
But once each one of us, our knowledge, the dimension of our knowledge is actually limited.
能够既广众的智慧，
If we able to accumulate the collective wisdom of the group of others,
就能更快地日进心知。
then we will be able to, every day we will be able to increase our new knowledge.
用这样的知识呢，用在我们的日常生活。
Then we will be able to apply this new knowledge in our life.
刚才我分享这个季仲之呢，就是星云大师在晚报登的。
And just now, ShiFu has shared, what ShiFu has shared is actually published in this newspaper by Master Xing Yun.
我们要感恩，这个他翻译得很好。
ShiFu said that translate so good, it's good, so I'm not sure.
所以佛法是要大家的力量啊，才能够成就。
In the Dharma, we need the collective force of all to be able to realize.
所以我们这样的一直走来，到现在我们在新加坡庆祝卫赛节第29年了。
We have come a long way. This is the 29 years we celebrating the Vesak in Singapore.
我们不懂前面还可以多少关要过，能够还要做多久，我们不知道。
We don't know in front there are how many more these stages that we are able to cross over.
可是我们依这个佛的教导呢，众言和合呢，众言性空为视线啊，因为很多因缘和合呢，我们才有这个机会呢，一起做一个东西。
All the causes and conditions comes together, but at the same time, the nature is empty, and it's actually an appearance of the mind alone, and this is how we actually do something.
我们说众言和合也有分散的时候。
And we say that all the causes and conditions, they come together, but there are a time that the causes and conditions will depart.
可是当我们有这个因缘的时候，我们就用心，然后只是去做。
And at the time that we have these causes and conditions, we will actually we are actually doing it fully, and we just do it.
我们今年卫赛界的主题叫做用心啊，大家都可以看到。
And this year, this Vesak theme is wholehearted attention.
我们说恰恰用心的时候呢，是恰恰无心用。
We say that when at the time we are doing something wholeheartedly, at that time there is no mind.
无心恰恰用，常用恰恰无。
No mind. At the same time, we use the mind daily.
这四句话呢，可以统摄从我们凡夫一直到成佛这个过程啊，我们这颗心到底是怎么样的
This can summarize from a normal person, an enlightened person, towards becoming Buddha, and how the mind is function.
因为我们平常所感受到的是一种散乱烦恼的心。
During our normal day-to-day, what we actually experience is a mind that is with discursive mind, and then is a mind that is not focused.
你想修行，就要让这个心的烦恼、散乱的心，要找到一个让它能够安住的地方去放。
In order to make use of the mind, we should be able to let the discursive mind with these discursive thoughts to be able to find a place to settle.
所以，中国古人呢有一句话讲
，in the ancient China, there is a saying.
他说：“学问之道无他。”
The saying is about this. Knowledge is nothing other than
但求放心而已。
nothing other than the mind that is settled down.
你为什么要做学问？
Why do you want to learn knowledge?
为什么需要学那么多的知识啊？
Why do you want to learn so many knowledges?
它最重要的地方只是但求放心而已。
The key or the importance is actually we are looking for a mind that is settled down.
就是把你这个心放在什么位置上。
In other words, where do we put our mind?
如果你学懂了，
If you have learned it,
有智慧的人，
one that is with wisdom,
他知道自己这颗心，
the person with wisdom, he or she knows the mind,
安住在什么地方。
where the mind should be put upon.
如果你没有学问，
If you don't have the knowledge,
没有知识的人呢，
if you don't have this knowledge,
他会将这颗心放在贪嗔痴、仇恨、嫉妒、比较、分别、烦恼、痛苦种种忧郁之中。
so if one does not have this knowledge, he or she will put the mind on this greed, hatred, delusions, a lot of this checking the differences, and a lot of suffering.
你就没有学问，没有知识，进而没有修养。
And without this knowledge, and then one does not have the conduct.
所以佛法呢，最是自觉的修行。
And in the Dharma practice is about this awareness, self-awareness.
也就是要从心地开始。
It means that we have to start from the root of our mind.
如果一个人不能从心地里面去改变自己，
If one cannot change from the root of the mind,
他就不算真正的修行，
it is not considered a true practice.
他只能算是修行的准备工作。
It can only be said as a preparation for the practice.
也就是说，先做一个好人呢，
In other words, it means just become a good person.
先让自己过得开心快乐。
So it is just become live happily only.
可是这些开心快乐呢，如果你心没有一个安住在一个真理上呢，这个怎么样的一个安心呢？这个开心只是暂时的。
Even if we able to live happily, but the mind is not settled and put on a correct place, and this happiness is temporary.
所以永嘉大师告诉我们呢，这4句话就是恰恰用心时。
And this master who said this is say that is just
恰恰用心时，
is just using the mind,
也就是恰到好处的用心。
or in other words, is use the mind at just right.
好像你们现在我在讲话，你们都很专注在听。
So, for example, right now ShiFu is giving this talk, and each one of you is listening attentively.
然后第二阶段他说恰恰无心用啊。
And then another second sentence, it was said that it just no mind.
一般的我们都会恰到好处的用心，可是在提升呢，恰恰无心用。
And in another word is just nice, there is no mind.
你看现在我在讲话，你们都坐在那边听我讲话。
Right now, ShiFu is giving the talk, and then you are sitting there, is listening attentively.
可是那边插花的人呢，我在讲话，他们只是在那边插花，恰恰无心用。
But at the same time, those that who is arranging the flower over there, they are just arranging the flower, and they are just nice, no mind.
你看，我现在讲到他们都没有抬头望我。
And right now, at this moment, when ShiFu is talking, they did not look over here.
再看看厨房嘛，还是很用心在那个做他们的工作。
And we look over there in the kitchen. Those helpers in the kitchen, they're just doing their job.
那耳朵关掉，没有听我讲话，只是做他们的工作。
Their ears are kind of shut down, and then they just doing their job.
所以就恰恰无心用，很专注了。
This is just nice, no mind, and this is they are doing their job, performing their job very focused.
然后他们会提升多一个境界，叫做无心恰恰用。
And they would actually go one level higher. It's called just nice, no mind, and just do it.
对。你看，他只是到等下你们要用点心在那边一直忙，叫做无心恰恰用，不是为自己。
And they know that because they know that you later on you will need to have the supper, so they just actually fully, wholeheartedly doing their job.
这是菩萨的境界。
That is actually the stage of the bodhisattva.
如果当菩萨境界在提升，就是佛的境界了，常用恰恰无。
And if from the bodhisattva stage is upgraded to the next, it will be the Buddha stage. That means that using it, just do it all the time, and it's just nice, nothing.
如果你把它榕树起来呢，很简单，2个字而已嘛。
And if we were to summarize into 2 words,
2个字。
it's only two words.
你们知道吗？哪2个字啊？对，你懂得用心吗？懂啊。OK， 告诉我你正在做什么？啊？哦，那很好了，鼓励鼓励他。
So the 2 words is wholehearted attention. And then ShiFu asks, so how do you use the wholehearted attention? Then the reply is listening to the ShiFu's talk.
如果再把它简化呢，1个字是什么？心，哇，很好了，对啊，心。
So if the question is, if we were to summarize further into 1 word, what it is, what is it? And the reply is mind.
你明白你的心吗？明白。你的心是什么颜色？红色。
So the simple question is, do you understand your mind? And then the reply say mind. So he said the mind is in red color.
可是《心经》告诉我们呢，凡所有相都是希望的。你讲青红白蓝都是希望的。
So in the sutra, it is mentioned that any form is actually an illusion. And if you say it is the mind is red color, it's also an illusion.
也是执着那个相。
You are attached to the form.
所以《心经》《金刚经》告诉我们：过去心不可得，现在心不可得，未来心不可得。
So in the Diamond Sutra, say that the past mind we cannot get, and then the future mind we cannot get. The mind now we also cannot get.
过去心不可得，现在心不可得，未来心不可得。你用什么心在听我讲话？
The past mind we cannot get, the current mind we cannot get, the future mind we cannot get. What mind are you using right now to listen?
想已经太慢了，耳朵耳朵是会听啊，什么东西知道那个 那个声音呢？
The reply is ears, but Shifu asks again, the ears can hear the sound, but what is knowing
我们
the sound?
有一个我的眼睛、我的耳朵、我的鼻孔、我的舌头、我的身体、我的心。
We have a self. We say that there is a self for, there's my eyes, my ears, my tongue, and then my mind.
我们这个身体也是暂时很多因缘啊、地水火风啊、五蕴四大而合的。
Our body is also formed up of these 5 elements of this earth, fire, the wind, and the earth.
当我们一大不调，这个身体也就会消失。
And if the conditions is actually not in harmony, and we have this symptom of sickness.
所以我们讲我的身体。
So we say that my body.
当这个身体消失了，这个我去哪里？
If this body disappeared, so where did I go?
我们每个人都会有生啊、老啊、病啊、死啊。
Each one of us have this birth, old age, sickness, and death.
当身体消失了，去哪里？
Once our body disappeared, where did it go?
每个人都有这个经验啊，生老病死，这些都是苦的。
Each one of all of us has this experience of suffering, of birth, old age, sickness, and death.
可是生出来，可能我们忘记了，不知道生是苦。很多小孩子生出来就是苦的。
So maybe we had forgotten our suffering during our birth, but there's a lot of this child that is born that actually suffer a lot.
生出来都哭哇哇叫。
During the birth, the baby will cry.
他没有生出来说，哈哈哈，太好了，我妈妈生我来这个娑婆世界。
And we never seen a baby that is actually happily born and then saying, exclaim that, oh, it's so good that I'm born.
所以本身就是苦的。
So birth itself is suffering.
可能我们忘记了，可是再下来呢，老也是苦啊。
We may have forgotten, but we will follow with this old age. Old age is also suffering.
可是我们这边有很多人还没有体验到老的苦。
Although some of us here may have not yet experienced the suffering of old age.
我们这个会场这几天法会呢，有最高的94岁来到这边。
During this activity, the chanting activity, there are an old person who is as old as 94 years old who attended.
很多80多岁，也是很多一起来拜佛，早上很热的，一整天在这里拜佛。
So there are a lot of these venerables who come here during this hot weather, and then they actually come here and bowing to the Buddha.
刚才讲，我们已经在这边20多年了，初初呢，这些人呢都 OK 很健康，慢慢身体越来歪了，变成慢慢弯下去了，走路也一直弯下去了。
We earlier have told the story about how we have come a long way of over 20 years, and some of these earlier of our participants, they have actually gone through the process of old age,
我
and
们要认定老也是苦的。
so we have to accept the fact that old age is also suffering.
我不敢讲我老，因为比我年纪大的很多。我只是告诉你，以前我不用戴眼镜的，一直要拿上拿下的，就是退化了嘛。
Shifu, he actually say that he don't dare to claim that he is old because there are much older seniors here. But Shifu has started to experience. Last time he don't need to wear the spectacles, but now he has to keep on wearing the spectacles and taking off.
再下来是病，多数人都会体验这个生病。
And the next one is the sickness. Most of us will experience the sickness.
所以病也是苦。
sickness is also
每
suffering.
个人都有经验。
Every one of you had the experience.
死更不用讲了，当然是苦，也是很苦。
And we don't need to say much more about the death. Death is definitely suffering.
可是重要呢，身体一定会老会病，也是我们的生命的一部分。可是这个身体不是我的，身体生病只是身体生病，不是说我的身体。
So but the important thing is, although we are going through the old age sickness and death, and when we are having this sickness, actually the body is not, although the body is sick, but the body is not mine.
所以我们都知道，哎，我的身体就苦了。你会说，哦，这个身体本来就是会生病，那你跟它合一呢，我们就可以减少很多的痛苦。
So whenever we have this body is sick, but when we say that is not suffering. But when we say that my body, when we become one with the sick body, then we are actually seeking for the suffering.
关于这个生老病死苦，每个人都要面对的。
So this birth, old age, sickness, and death, everyone has to face it.
爱别离苦，你喜欢的人，你离开了，你会很苦。
And then to be departed from those that we are dear to us, and then to be departed from them, those that we love, is actually is suffering for us.
还有求不得苦，
Another suffering is about we cannot get what we want. That is a suffering.
我们想种种的要求啊，
We have a lot of this different desire to get something.
也就是我们的六根对外在的六尘会产生六识。
In other words, we have these 6 roots that is facing these 6 these objects, and then we have this 6 awareness that is arising.
我们眼睛喜欢看外在好的景象，
Our eyes like to looking at these good and beautiful things.
我们的耳朵喜欢听好的声音。
Our ears like to listen to beautiful
可
sounds.
是你的，哎呀，卫生节快乐吗？师傅，你是讲苦，不好听嘞。
And some may complain, Sifu, this is Vesak, it should be happy Vesak. So why don't talk about a lot of this suffering?
我们的舌头呢，会喜欢好的味道。
Our tongue prefer and likes this good taste.
可是我们想要得到的，得不到，我们就苦了。
We want to get it, and if we don't get it, we will suffer.
当我们碰到我们不喜欢的人，可是你偏偏又要面对他，也是很苦。
And whenever we face someone we don't like, but we no choice, we have to face them, it is also a suffering.
所以叫做验证会苦。
And this is we call that when we face someone that we hate and don't like, it is a form of suffering.
这些每个人都可以体验的。你喜欢的人离开你，你会生气，爱别离苦。
And this everyone can experience ourselves whenever we have someone we love that is dear to us, and we have to be departed from them, we have this suffering.
你跟不喜欢的在一起，你会那边不舒服，会埋怨的，这验证会苦。
And when we have someone that we don't like, when we have to be together, and we will have a lot of complaint, and this is actually also a form of suffering.
我们每个人都想要追求好的处境，
Every one of us, we are seeking and looking for a good situation.
我们每个人都有体验到，大家都会做梦。
Everyone have this experience. Every one of us, we dream.
可是梦到好的梦呢，你会醒来，你会在想，哇，我做梦很好的梦啊。
And if we had a good dream, whenever we wake up, we will actually recall the dream, and then we actually think that is a good dream.
其实没有在睡觉做梦，现在我们坐在那边是在做梦。
And in fact, even we are not dreaming during the sleep, and even when we are sitting here right now, we are also maybe dreaming.
我们经常有人说白日梦嘛，
We say this, we always say about this daydreaming.
所以每个人都要对自己，你要做梦呢，还是要醒过来？
We should ask ourselves, do we want to continue to dream or do we want to wake up?
我们有很多在追求呢，这个是我们的梦。
We have a lot of desire and a lot of things we chase for, and this is a form of dream.
这个不一定能够心想事成，我们说求不得苦。
And all these dreams that we had, we may not be getting it fulfilled, all of it. And this is a form of cannot get suffering.
所以我们要反问自己：我现在有没有苦，有没有烦恼？
And we should ask oneself, at this moment, do I have any suffering? Do I have any worry?
可是你能够去关照这个呢？诶，你想通了，你就没有苦了，没有烦恼。
If we able to look at it and then to be able to think through it, then our suffering will disappear.
所以修就是从这边去思维修嘛。
And in this practice, the cultivation and practice is to have this reflection, and through the reflection and thinking through that we practice.
看看我们现在这里这个心正在做什么。
We look at our mind right now. What is the mind doing now?
那如果你真正看清楚了，你就能够放下，就解脱了，就没有苦。
If right now you're able to see through and see clearly, and then you will be liberated. You will be not having suffering.
刚才讲我们身体会生病啊，就是我们的四大不调啊，我们叫做五阴四肾苦。
And earlier we spoke about this body will have this sickness is because of these four main factors, that for these elements that is not in harmony. And then there's in another saying is this five aggregates that is burning and then is suffering.
也就是说，你的风大，有些人会中风，就是风大呢，就是苦。
And then we talk about these elements of wind, and some people they will have this stroke is due to this element of wind that is not in harmony.
我们讲这个五阴就是色受想行识，你的这个色身跟我们的心法，我们心有种种的感受，我们面对外在的处境呢，我们心会领纳一种感受。
We talk about these five aggregates. Five aggregates is including this form, and through the form, our mind will have feelings.
当你在面对外面的感受，你有一种心有一个相啊，在想。
And whenever our mind face the external and facing the form, and our mind will have this perception.
然后你会做一些行动。 喜欢不喜欢，好坏其实。
And once we have this perception, and we will take some action. And then this action is some form of like, dislike, want or don't want.
这个是我们的分别的意识的心就升起来了，好坏喜欢不喜欢起舍。
And we have this mind that is start to discern and looking at things in terms of good and bad, like or dislike.
所以我们要去关照呢，我们这个色跟外在的心法呢，都是空的，因缘和合暂时有。
We need to see clearly that the form, the external form, and all the conditions, external conditions are actually from the causes and conditions.
所以五蕴四大也是因缘和合而成的。
Even these five aggregates itself is forming up because of this, due to this causes and conditions of these four
所以佛的教
elements.
导告诉你呢，因缘和合是暂时的，它是本来是不存在的，叫做缘起性空。
And Buddha, in Buddha teaching, Buddha teaches us that all these causes and conditions are originally non-existing. So that is why we call the causes and conditions the dependent origination. The nature is empty.
所以刚才讲了，这个用心回归到当下，这个心很重要。
And then now we talk about the wholeheartedness. The wholeheartedness is very important for us to return to the mind here and now.
所以这个六祖坛经告诉你了，因无所住而生其心。
And in this Platform Sutra of the Sixth Patriarch, it says that it is very important that when the thinking arises, do not attach.
也就是不要住色身香味触法身心。
And in other words, not to dwell upon the objects of this form, and then this smell, taste, touch.
所以我们有所住，我们又有所抓嘛，我们就放不下，苦就来了。
If we dwell or we attach to these forms, then we have something holding on, and then the suffering will come.
那如果看到每一样东西呢，也都是因缘和合的，我们就不会再追求那个梦想。
If we able to see clearly that everything is forming based on the causes and conditions, and then we will not have dreams. I mean those type of dreams.
这个《金刚经》最后的总结告诉我们呢，一切有为法如梦幻泡影。
In Diamond Sutra, in the end, the conclusion is all the dharmas, conditioned dharmas, is like bubbles, like dreams, like shadows, like all these bubbles.
下面我要讲，它全部翻译了。好，所以告诉我们，一切有为法如梦幻泡影，如露亦如电，应作如是观。最后一个字，去关照，那个很重要。
And then it's also, all the dharmas is also like the dew, morning dew, and also like the lightning and thunders. And we need to have this such observation and have such view.
所以我们修行就是要去观，去想清楚，为什么我们有苦，为什么我们有烦恼。
So in our practice, we should think and ponder upon why we have this suffering and why do I have this worry.
苦是不是人家可以给你的？
Suffering is not someone else. It's not given upon by someone else.
所以当我们想清楚，哪里有苦啊？
If we have think through, we have thought through, we have seen clearly, and where is the suffering?
然后你就懂得安住你的心了。
As such, we will be able to put down and settle our mind.
当我们烦恼来的时候，我们懂得怎么样去降服我们这个烦恼的心。
Whenever we have some worry or some trouble that appears, we know the method on how to settle and to be able to control our mind.
所以佛法要让我们离苦，就会得乐。
And the Buddha Dharma is wanting to let us to be able to be overcoming our suffering and to attain the happiness.
今晚呢，我讲的太多话，心血来潮讲太多话了，错误很多。
And ShiFu humbly saying that he might have saying something, make some mistake in his speech.
现在轮你们讲了，有什么问题可以问，来回答问题。
So right now is the time time your turn to say something. So you have anything to say or ask, or any question to ask?
阿弥陀佛，师父慈悲。我有一个问题啊，我听也听不懂，没有答案。我听说佛有三身，这个是什么意思？什么法身、报身、野马身，这个我听也听不懂。
So the question is, the Buddha. It is said that Buddha have 3 bodies. So and then he is not clear what is this about.
不懂很好，我们说不知啊。当你不知道，只是不知。
If you don't know, it's good. When you don't know, just don't know.
那我们不知已经切掉思维了。
When you don't know, your thinking, you have cut away your thinking.
其实佛告诉我们呢，众生本来都有佛性，本来很简单。
And Buddha said, originally, all beings have Buddha nature. It's very simple.
当佛开悟的时候，第一次宣言告诉我们啊，其在大地众生皆有如来德性。
When the Buddha attained the enlightenment, the first thing the Buddha said was, "It's wonderful, wonderful. All the beings in the world has the Buddha nature."
不管你是穷人啊、富人啊、男人、女人，每个人的本质跟佛没有两样的。
Regardless of whether you are rich or poor, you are a male or a female, all are no difference.
我们本来的知性本来清净的。
Our nature is originally pure.
本来不动。
Originally not moving.
本来记住的。
Originally complete.
可是我们很多妄想、很多想法呢、很多烦恼抓住不放呢，我们看不到我们本来的这个真性，本来清净的。
But we have so many of these discursive thoughts, a lot of this thinking and illusions, and then that has covered up this originally pure mind.
所以我们说佛陀有3身，你也是有3身。
We say that there's a saying that Buddha has 3 bodies. You also have 3 bodies.
所以不止3身啊，无量的身。
Not just 3 bodies, it's uncountable bodies.
我们说佛有法身，还有这个因化身。
I can't remember all the translation. It's probably something like the Dharma Kaya. And
清净法身，比如这那佛的法身有这个法身。
And this Vairochana Buddha is we call it this Dharma Kaya, the body of Dharma.
也有报身。
And there's another body.
报身，如果你有一个愿呢，你会得到那个力量，叫做报。收到佛有个庄严相嘛，就是收到这个。
So this second body is about the body that is formed with the cause is the Buddha has made a vow in the past, and then it has this very auspicious form. This body.
简单一点呢，人家你去那边把所有的花都买去供佛，你会得到很好的庄严的报身。
So in another easier explanation is later you go and help to purchase all the flowers there, and then you make a vow, and you actually you make this vow, and you will get this body.
你可以告诉师父，你的晚年票还很多，我全部买，我请大家来吃饭，也会得到很好的报身。
So and another method will be during we have this actually this Vesak dinner tomorrow night, and if you tell Shifu, okay, I will actually for the rest of all the tables, I will actually purchase them all, and then by doing these good deeds, then you will be able to attain this body of the Buddha.
你现在的心是什么，你会得到你要的那个报身。
In other words, whatever your mind right now at this moment, you will get the equivalent form.
如果你贪得无厌呢，一直贪呢，你得到那个身呢，就是三恶道的身。
If you have a lot of this greed and mind, the mind of greed, and then you will get the body that is connected with the 3 lower realms.
那释迦牟尼佛呢，他有这个三身，还有一个叫做应化身。
That is another body, the third body of the Buddha.
应化身呢，众生需要什么相来度他呢？佛就会向这个相去度他。
So this third body is the explanation is whatever the conditions of the beings, what the beings require and need, and the Buddha will appear in the relevant form to be able to help the beings.
我们刚才讲菩萨了，菩萨，你家里有2个老人呢，爸爸妈妈就是菩萨了，佛的化身来的。
And just now we also talk about bodhisattva, and in all of your home you have 2 bodhisattva, which is your mother and your father.
你看我一个人只有2个眼睛、2个耳朵、2个鼻孔，只有1个嘴巴。
And each one of us has these 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 2 nostrils, but only 1 mouth.
可是能够做很多东西，你看集众之啊，这么多人在付出，在帮忙。
But with this cumulative effort from all, then we're able to do something.
一个人不可以成就。
By oneself alone, we cannot attain.
所以我们讲佛的这个法身是无相的，你只是看不到而已。
This body, the Dharmakaya, is actually is no form. We cannot see.
你看佛陀2000多年在这个世界，
We see that. Let's see the Buddha. He is already 2,000 over years.
2000年后呢，他的报身法身还在这边呢，我们还在庆祝维赛节。
And after 2,000 over years, the bodies of the Buddha is still in existence. And this, because the body of the Buddha is still in existence, so we still celebrate until today the Vesak.
所以简单一点，你不知道没有问题。
And to be simple, you don't know, there is no problem.
如果你要知道很多，有很多烦恼，很多问题。
If you want to know, you know a lot, there will be a lot of problem, a lot of this problem.
如果你知道一点点问题，
If you know a little, you have a little problem.
你完全不知道就没有问题了。
If you totally don't know, you have no problem at all.
因为我们知道的太多了，我们在审查啦，喜欢不喜欢啊，在选择啊，我们才有苦，才有问题。
Because we know too much, then we have a lot of checking, we have like and dislike, and then that causes us a lot of suffering.
现在我讲了很多问题了。
Now that you have spoken a lot, and then there's a lot of questions, a lot of troubles,
headache，
a lot of headache.
哦，还有什么问题吗？
听说做禅啊，好像有 level， 1层、2层、3层，好像进那个不可思议那个境界，不可思议那个境界啦，好像到那个 什么极乐世界啦，多帅孽缘啊，那个这是佛国的世界。哎，我怕如果我进那个世界啊，我永远不可以回来怎么办？
The question is regarding this meditation. In meditation, there are some saying that talk about these different stages of attainment, like the Pure Land of the Amitabha and also the Pure Land of the Maitreya Buddha. So if I have attained and gone to this realm, if I can't come back, what to do?
因为你有个我，所以你会害怕。
You are afraid because you have an I.
这个身体是我的，你才怕它消失。
This body is I, so I'm afraid that it will be disappeared.
世间每一样东西都是因缘暂时和合而假有，不要抓住不放。
All things in the world is formed due to the cause and conditions. Is temporarily. We don't hold on to it.
西方极乐世界也是假的，和合的，因缘和合。
The Pure Land or the Western Paradise is also formed by these causes and conditions. Is also temporary.
西方极乐是阿弥陀佛的大愿啊。 他制造一个极乐世界，让这个很多受苦的众生都到他那个世界来，是弥陀的大愿。
So the Amitabha Buddha has actually created this Western paradise by his vows, his big vow, so to be able to receive a lot of beings.
因为众生有苦嘛。
It's because beings has suffering.
我们认为这个世界很苦，我们要去西方极乐世界。
It's because we felt that this world has a lot of suffering, so that we want to go over to this Western paradise.
如果你认为我要去西方极乐世界，你就西方世界离开你很远。
If we think that I want to go to Western paradise, by this thinking, the Western paradise is very far away.
可是呢，你当下很清楚，你都没有苦了，为什么要去西方极乐世界？这边就是西方极乐世界。
If one is very clear of right here and right now, there is no suffering. So right here and right now is already Western paradise. Why should I still go there?
我们都会念阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛。
All of us know how to chant this Amitabha Buddha.
我在念阿弥陀佛。
And I am chanting Amitabha Buddha.
有一个人念的我，所念的佛。
There is a person that is chanting, and there is a Buddha name that are being chanted.
这个是相对的法，叫做二法。
This is a truth that is relative. There is a duality.
如果你真正能够用功呢，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀，只是没有这个相对的，没有二的，你本身就自性的弥陀就显现。
If one can practice continuously and chanting this Amitabha, 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 and without this dualistic, without this dual, without this relative truth, then you actually the Amitabha of the true self will appear.
所以很简单，只是阿弥陀佛，念一直念阿弥陀佛，念到无念，没有一个我，没有我在念，没有一个阿弥陀佛，叫做意嘛，一心念佛。
And it's very simple. If one is chanting with mind until there is no mind, and then it's actually one mind that is actually chanting.
所以不要误解我，不是否定的那个西方极乐世界。 重要呢？你现在清楚呢？这边就是西方自由的世界。
And ShiFu clarifies that he is not denying that there is the existence of this Western paradise. The most important thing is if right here and right now your mind is clear, right here is the Western paradise.
所以凡是因缘和合的东西呢，凡所有相都是希望。
Everything that is a form of these causes and conditions, all the forms are illusion.
所以你不用担心，你去到西方不会回来。
And no need to worry that if you gone to this Western paradise, then you will not able to come back.
是没有来没有去的。
Because there is no coming and no going.
有一句话叫做“无来无去无代志”。
As a Hokkien saying, there's no coming and no going, and there's no problem.
还有没有其他人有问题？
And is there any other question?
有问题吗？
Any more question?
师父晚上好，我一个朋友说的问题跟刚才那位居士说的有点相像。他说，因为他现在已经很老了嘛，他就说，当我要死的时候，我也很害怕，我怎么办呢？
So this question, she is asking on behalf of her friend. Is similar to what the brother asked earlier. If I'm going to die, what should I do? I feel have a lot of fear.
其实刚才讲了，生老病死这是我们的生命的一部分嘛。
Earlier, ShiFu has already mentioned that the birth, old age, sickness, and death is part of our life.
当你现在很清楚死，你就没有害怕了。
If right now you are very clear, then there is no need to fear about when you facing the death.
也就是说，死了你换多一个跑道还会再来的。
In other words, after death, you are actually changing lane and you will come back.
这辆车用久了，COE 不可以用了，再换一辆嘛。
And this body is as like a vehicle, and once the COE expired, you change another one.
可是你平常有做功夫呢，你会换一更好的车会来再来。
But you will make a difference if in daily you are doing some practices, then you will change a better vehicle to come back.
如果你没有做功夫，你没有本钱，只是换一辆轿车再来脚踏车。
If you don't practice, you don't put in effort to practice, then you might be only changing a bicycle and come back.
所以现在做功夫很重要的，用心去修行。
So right now, practicing is very important to put in effort and practice.
我们善用其心，那个很重要。
Do we use the mind well is very important.
你平常跟人家相处的好不好，那个很重要。
In our daily life, how we actually deal with our relationships with others is very important.
如果我们已经把我们的工作做到最好，有什么挂碍呢？
If we have performed our job well, what is there to worry about?
我们为什么恐怖呢？
What is there to be feared about?
说要自在嘛，修行就是快乐跟自在。
And in our practice, it's important to be free and to be happy.
好像你现在坐在这边今晚往生啊，我会恭喜你啊！为赛节了，我就往生。
Well, if you practice and then practice well, and then tonight right here you pass away, I will congratulate you because tonight is auspicious. It's a Vesak night,
你还会再来，
and you will come back.
你会换一个很好的跑道。
You will change a good lane and come back.
所以你要知道你以后去做什么，你现在的心就是。
if you want to know in the future what you will become, so right now is look at right now what is your mind.
所以发心去用功那个很重要。
So to actually have an aspiration, have a mind of aspiration to practice is important.
刚才我们讲呢，我们身体一定有病痛，不用担心。
And just now we mentioned the body will always have this sickness, and there's no need to worry about.
会痛，
And there will be pain,
可是呢，你的心是不动的。
but your mind is not moving.
每一样的事情发生，一定有它的因缘。
Everything, every event that happened, there must be a cause.
所以学佛的人要很精进、很自在、很快乐嘛，很充实。
And then the Dharma practitioner must be always be free, actually be happy, and then be relaxed.
所以刚才我讲了，我们现在有80多岁了，老菩萨坐在这边，他们都不怕，都也是来用功，一整天在这边，早上到现在。
And we right now even having 80 over years Dharma practitioner, they are here and practicing since the morning. They are not afraid.
我跟你分享，这个老菩萨呢，在2个礼拜前，我们去医院探他，那时候躺在那个生病。
And then our old Bodhisattva, our Dharma friend here, he is actually at this hospital.
他第一句话告诉我：“师父，我时间到了，要走了。”
And the first sentence he told Shifu is, "Oh, my time is up. I have to go first."
我说：“不用担心，还没有这样快走，威赛节要到了。”
And Shifu told him, "Don't worry, it's not time up yet. It's Vesak is coming."
那时候我们一般人10多人去探他，他是今晚就来的。
And that time, there are actually 10 hours of us went there and visited him, and he just come back.
他是不能走动的，住医院一段时间。
He can't walk, and he has stayed in the hospital for a period of time.
可是不可思议啊！他听到你要振作起来，他一天一天好起来了。
But this is unbelievably. After he heard that, I mean, he should be actually put in effort, and he actually recover day after day.
所以这几天他都在这边一整天。
And these few days, he has been here for the whole day.
所以不用担心你的身体随时会消失，不用担心。
So there is no need to worry that your body will disappear at any time.
我们的生命只是在当下，这里现在。
Our life is only right here and right now.
所以好好用我们这个色身还有能量呢，去充实，然后去用功，然后帮忙别人。
And we need to use this body, use it fully, and then use our energy fully to help others.
我们看到年纪大的人来这边修行，我们会感动哇！我们要向他学习嘛。
When we see the elderly, the elders that come here and practice, we are feeling touched, and we want to learn from them.
如果你白天来这边看呢，那些推轮椅都来好几个人都来这边诵经一整天。
And if you come during the daytime, you will see that a lot of these elderly who came here and joined the event, they are coming in wheelchairs.
所以不用担心，死的时候只是去死的时候就很庄严的，然后呢再换一辆车再来。
So no need to worry at the time of facing the death. So face it with a dignity, and we change another vehicle and come back.
你也知道你什么时候要走，
And you also know when you will go.
你告诉家人，明天早餐不用煮我的。
And you will know, and then you know when is your time's up, and then you will tell your family members, "Oh, tomorrow I don't need to prepare my
我会
breakfast."
准备好了，把身体洗干净，打坐。
And then we take a bath and then we prepare, we meditate.
慢慢吸，慢慢的呼，
And we breathe in slowly, we breathe out slowly.
最后一口气说拜拜。
And then on the last breath, we say goodbye.
每个人都可以做得到的，
Everyone able to do that.
要有信心，
Be confident.
好吗？
Okay?
还有疑问吗？
Any more question?
留个机会给别人，你问2次啊。还有其他人有问题吗？
对不起，师傅，你说不要担心了。不过我发现有些老人家生病的时候，大小便不能控制，床上全部都是大小便，然后又给儿媳妇骂，又很伤心的。那你说不要担心，那这个时候你要他做什么呢？
所以要讲。
Okay, the question is, although Shifu said not to worry during the sickness, but some of these elderly, during their sickness, they may pass motion, they may have this urinate uncontrollably, and then the children, I mean, of them may have to take care of them.
佛教告诉我们呢，去探望病人呢是修最大的福报。
In the Buddhism, it teaches that when we visit those that are in sickness, is actually greatest karma, merit, greatest merit.
当家里有一个老人生病，你能够用心去照顾他，你修很大的福报。
And when in your home you have these people who are sick, and then you take care of them, you are actually accumulating a great merit.
然后也对那个病人，他也会感到很欣慰。
And then the patient themselves will also feel comfortable.
所以平常我们就要做功夫咯，碰到病的时候也不用担心。我们这边那个老菩萨也是躺在那边大小便啊，不能够自主的。
So during normal times, we should have put in effort into our practice. And then our Dharma friend here, during his sickness, he also cannot control his urine and then also the pass motion.
刚才我讲那个病人呢，他有这个经验呢，他没问题啊，现在都好了。
And earlier, the patient that Shifu mentioned, he also had the same experience. But right now, he has recovered.
也就是说，平常我们要以身作则呢。你跟家人共处的时候，老人家也要懂得做人啊。那个年轻人就会跟你学得很好了，他不会说，厌恶你啦，不要照顾你啦，这个都是因缘。
So during when we are not having the sickness, we need to set an example. We should actually ourselves treat the patient or the older person well, and then that is also a form of cause and condition.
当我们厌恶那个病人呢，有一天你也会老，你也会生病。
If we feel having this aversion over the patient or the elderly, because one day ourselves will also be sick and be old.
所以我们说，经常我们去医院看病人，我们就是给他一些能量啊，给他一些正能量啊，不用想太多啊，放轻松。你的苦，你不用挣扎，你就不会太多的苦。
And during our visit to the patients in the hospital, we always tell them to be relaxed and then don't think too much, be relaxed. And if you don't actually in a conflict with the sickness, and then you will not feel so much of the suffering.
每个人都有责任把它做到最好。如果家里有一个因缘这样的人，你要去面对，怎么样去处理，怎么样帮忙他。 让他减少的最低的痛苦。
if we have a patient in our household, everyone, should put in effort to see how we can help to reduce the suffering of the patient to the minimum.
刚才讲了，这个你的福报嘛，你照顾越久，你修的福报更多。
And earlier we mentioned that taking care of the patient is accumulating merit. If we taking care of the patient for a longer period, we are accumulating more merits.
所以你有来学佛，你可以鼓励他哦，你今天有一天的精神，好好用一天，要感恩，我已经活了一把年纪了吗？放下吧，放下你就没有苦，就自在了。
And since we are coming here to learn and practice the Dharma, we can try to advise the patient. You have actually have lived such a long age, and then can try to learn to let go, and then you let go, and then you can let go of the suffering.
好吗？
Okay.
还有没有其他的问题？
Is there any other question?
Uh, 基文法师晚上好，各位佛友晚上好。这个问题是要问关于我们身体的灵性，我们有什么方法可以消除？谢谢。
灵性，我们的消除啊，消除了，要灭这个消除了。
The question is about we have this. We talk about we have this soul, and how we can eliminate and we can remove the soul.
其实我们的知性是不生不灭的。
Actually, our self is not born, and there's no birth and no death.
我们不用去灭这个我们的灵性，我们不能够灭，因为它没有生嘛，怎么样灭？
There is no need to eliminate this soul because there is no birth. How do we eliminate it?
我们这个身体有这个色的相嘛。
And our body, we have this form of this body.
所以我们修行就要看到我们本来的自性啊。
In our practice, we have to see our true self.
我们的自性没有生没有灭。
Our true self, there is no birth and no death.
没有好没有坏，
There is no good and no bad.
没有健康或者不健康。
There is no healthy nor unhealthy.
自性本来就是不动的。
The true self is originally not moving.
可是我们这个相是因缘和合的，一直往坏的方面去发展的。
But this form of us is always changing, and then is developing is deteriorating into towards a bad.
所以我们说可坏性啊。
So we say that this form has the nature of deteriorating.
所以我们说凡所有相都是希望的。
In other words, all forms are illusion.
不是真实的。
It's not the truth.
不用担心，如果家里人有病，我们只是尽量去帮忙他。
So no need to worry when we have this sick person at our household. We just help them.
可是我们的本来知性不生不灭，没有所谓健康不健康。
But our true self, there is no birth and no death. There is no healthy or no sick.
所以佛法的伟大就要看那个不生不灭的是什么。
So the greatness of the Dharma is to be able to see through this no birth and no death nature.
凡所有相都是和合而成的。
All forms are created based on this cause and conditions.
既然是和合，它也会分开的。
Since it is actually the nature is a formative creation, it will actually will be separated. The causes will separate.
最重要呢，我们 要面对任何问题呢，然后只是去做，然后放下，没事。
The most important thing is to be able to face any problem, just do it, and then let go.
该做的时候我们会尽量去做。
If we have to do something, we just go and do it.
你的心就完美了，圆满了。
And at that time, your mind is complete, is complete.
不用担心这个灵性会消灭。
And there is no need to worry that this spirit or this soul will disappear.
可以吗？
Anything else?
还有吗？没有很好，我们来进行一个广告。
So,
广告的片段。
okay, so now is the time. Okay. So now is the time of some advertisement.
刚才讲了，我们每个人都有他的工作嘛。
Earlier we mentioned that each one of us has their own job.
刚才我们已经讲了，我们卫赛节呢，在3个地方的庆典，从马来西亚呢、迪沙鲁呢、滨江南到新加坡。
Earlier, we also spoke about the 3 locations of our celebration from the Saru, Pengerang, until here in Singapore.
可是这并不是我们的重点呢。
But here, this is not our actually our point of focus.
修行本来就是没有始没有终。
Because our practice is beginningless and endless.
现在有个上师人，上心人士呢，有一个陈居士呢，送给我们一块地，在马来西亚麻坡。
And now there is actually a good patron has donated a land in Muar.
这个山阴某一个地，好像滨江南这么大。
And this location has 3 hectare in Muar.
我师父，我要跟你开会，他来找我这个祭司。
And this person, this Dharma friend has come and see ShiFu one day.
然后他说拿一些文件告诉我，我麻坡有个地呢，要送给你做佛堂。
And this Dharma supporter told ShiFu he has a land in Muar. He wants to donate to ShiFu to build a temple.
他说这个地呢，本来是我的老爸买了，以后退休，他是麻坡人嘛，可以在那边养老。
This land originally is bought by the father of this Dharma supporter and is for his father's retirement.
然后爸爸就往生了嘛。
And then the father had passed away.
然后他这么诚意，把那个地要献出来做道场。
And now this Dharma supporter wanted to donate this land to build a temple.
当然，我也给他的发心有点感动，我说 OK 可以啊。
And ShiFu felt touched and moved by this act of him.
可以，就是没有完工作没有完了，就工作开始要做了，在麻坡。
So once ShiFu has agreed, then the work has begun.
我觉得这也是很难得的一个因缘呢，一个人能够舍把一块地这样送出来，叫你去那边做道场。我觉得这个道场好啊，可以把那个佛法呢带动到那个那边的麻坡的人，那也是很有意义的。
This is very rare conditions, and someone has donated the land, and it's actually very good in terms of if we're able to build a center over there, we're able to benefit the people over there in Muar.
所以这次在这边的卫赛节呢，我的心已经在麻坡了。
So and during this Vesak right here, although it's in Singapore, but ShiFu mind has went over to Muar.
就是没有真正的用心。
And ShiFu may not have wholehearted attention here.
真的，我现在讲的话，心在麻坡了吗？
So it's true because when we are talking right here, but our mind is right now in Muar.
可是我讲的这个话，就是要你们一起来行动，大家的力量才可以成就那个道场。
The reason we are telling about this this story about this Muar is hope that every one of us here can come together and actually put together our action to help.
每个人都可以做得到的，
Everyone can also can do it.
你不用拿很多钱出来。
There is no need to actually donate a lot of money.
我们讲随喜功德嘛，
We said about actually doing based according to our own conditions.
如果别人有一件好事，我们赞叹的一种随喜啊。
Even when we don't have the condition to donate, but someone else are donating, but we are able to rejoice. That is also creating a good merit.
当然了，我也不会做梦，我要去麻坡开一个道场。
Of course, ShiFu also will not dream that he will go there and go to Muar and open a center.
所以这个是一个很殊胜的因缘。哎，我们只是大家联合起来，去把它组织起来，这个很多人可以受用，然后这是很有意义、有价值的。
And this has happened is due to an auspicious conditions, and is actually will become valuable if everyone comes together and make it happen.
我们刚才讲了，每个人只要肯，每个人都会做得到。
So just now we mentioned that everyone can also make it.
今天他们开始动工了。
Today they has started the work, the groundwork.
他说记得啊，下个礼拜你进来要拿钱进来。我说 OK， 会赛节有钱的。
So just now, ShiFu is being reminded that next week, remember to bring in the funding. And ShiFu said, okay, after the Vesak, there should be some
我
funding.
在想，每个人给我1块钱就可以了。
And ShiFu was thinking that each one of us contribute $1 is enough.
就是一天1块钱。
$1 each day.
一天少喝一杯咖啡，1块钱是没有。
Each day we have one coffee less, and we have $1.
如果你想放心，一天1块钱，等下去柜台那边，不要忘记，这都365嘛，一年有365天，一天1块，一年就有365。
So if you are willing to sacrifice your one day, one coffee each day, you can approach to our counter. We have this 365 program, so you will contribute $1 per day.
那么下一个的卫赛节呢，不止新加坡做完了，我们一起再去麻坡那边再庆祝卫赛节了。
So the next Vesak, after the Singapore Vesak celebration, we can continue our celebration at the Muar Center.
一天1块钱不会影响很大。
So $1 a day is actually not a big impact on your life.
我们说积少成多。
We say that a cumulative of small amount will create a big amount.
众志成城呢。
The will, cumulative, collective will of all will build a city.
希望大家可以用心组织去做。
So wish that everyone can wholeheartedly, attentively, and just do it.
所以把这个用心带回家。
And please bring back the wholehearted attentiveness back to your home.
如果家里有病人呢，就用心照顾他嘛。
If you have patient at your house, just wholeheartedly, attentively, just take care of them.
如果来这边卫赛节有一些收益呢，你回家也是用心跟其他人分享。
If you have benefited a little from these Vesak events, and you bring back home, and just you can share it with the people around you.
好了，我们今天讲了很多话，
So today we have spoke a lot.
我相信厨房已经准备了很多东西，你们都肚子饿，等下可以去享用了。
So, Shifu believe that you may already feel hungry, and then the kitchen had prepared a lot of this food.
明天就是佛陀日卫赛节，希望大家呢，早上我们照样有阳光饱餐啊，一系列活动呢，明晚有晚宴呢，欢迎大家来参与。
So, tomorrow there's a series of events. We have a chanting in the morning, and then we have this vegetarian delicacies fair. We have children art competition. We have this 3 refuge and 5 precept and Vesak celebration the dinner at night.
也欢迎大家来到我们的道场呢，一起来修行。
And we also invite and welcome everyone to come to our center to practice together.
谢谢大家。
Thank you. 请大家起立，please stand。让我们来向师父行一问讯礼，one standing bow。